Welcome to another episode of Reseller Evolution. I'm Scott.
And I'm Carl.
How's it going, Carl?
Good.
Good.
Yep, episode number 41.
41.
Yep, we can count.
41. Oh, it's fun. It's crazy how fast it's gone by, for sure. But
I swear we just recorded this like an hour ago, and now we're doing another week of recording.
I know. I agree.
It's funny. The weeks are just going, and I don't have anything else to do, and there's not enough time.
Well, keep going.
That's the sound I hate.
Well, it just means somebody wants a deal on something, I think.
Yeah. I had a return yesterday. It wasn't it was fine. It was an electronic. Yeah.
I get these every now and then on the app. It just gives me that chime, and I look, and there's nothing.
Oh, what it could be is someone sending you a coupon or something like that.
Oh, okay.
I'm wondering. I don't know, because I had to turn those. I had to turn the cha-chings and the those sounds off because is distracting me from what I was doing. Like if we're watching a movie and like I got a cha-ching, it would totally distract me from watching. So I just turned it off, and I've lived. But it's still nice hearing them when other people get them, right? So
yeah. Well, I like the cha-ching. It was funny yesterday, and then we'll get back to you. But I just want to tell this story. So these toy soldiers, we'll talk about them, I'm sure, later on. But one guy bought 7 last night, like, I don't know, 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night. And they bought 7, all kind of like all wrapped up in the same invoice. But it went cha-ching.
It couldn't handle all of it.
And I'm like, it was like it was stuttering cha-chings.
Oh, nice.
I've never heard that before. But it was like ching, and then it was 7. And I see
it doesn't wait for the sound to be ended before it does the next one. Other would be like cha-ching, 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 cha-ching.
Well, that's what happened when I sold the remember those letters from the radio station? The guy bought 17. That's what it did. It went cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. And Steph's sitting on the steps while I'm working downstairs, and she's like, "What is that? Like, what's going on?" So that's what I would expect too. But this one was like a complete stutter. It was like cha-ching.
I remember the first time I ever got a cha-ching. I was already in bed, and I had listed stuff, and like I never sold anything ever. And I was like, I heard the cha-ching. It's like, oh, what's that? The excitement, you know? I had to like Christmas Day. I had to run downstairs and see what I sold.
Or I'll put it next to the bed, like on the nightstand.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, we'll be like watching a movie or just ready for sleep, and all of a sudden, cha-ching. It's like,
oh no,
what is that?
Yeah, that would last about 5 seconds before Amy would be like, nope.
Yeah. Well,
the 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock cha-chings, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I get in trouble.
Yeah. Steph can pretty much sleep through it, but I'm not even going to say, but I'll have to cut this out probably. But she gets mad when I'm like, "Are you sleeping? Hey, are you sleeping?" I was.
Yeah. So I find it funny because sometimes he's like, you'll talk to the other person, they're totally awake. Amy will be like not even a little sleepy, like totally awake at 3 o'clock in the morning. Oh my god. But so that's good. Right. So for people who don't know, we already started this, and immediately Scott starts selling toys at the beginning of the episode. Just as I say my name, just to kind of like twist the knife. It's like he set it up for something, you know.
It was a guy only bought three things.
Only 3, eh?
Yeah.
So the reason this is annoying is, how much do they sell for each? You said $50 or something.
Yeah, these ones were the smaller, just a single men type thing, and they're $49.95. That's what I had, and that's what they paid.
I had to wrap 2 big PC trains yesterday. And those both of them require me to Frankenstein boxes.
Oh,
and one of the worst things is I forgot it was Tuesday, free shipping Tuesday.
Oh,
and like for Sunday night I couldn't watch a show, and I was watching it on Tuesday, and I just packed everything, shipped it off, and then I continued to watch a show, and then you reminded us about the free Tuesday, and the trains were going to New Brunswick. So I could
Oh,
save myself $27 by
yeah.
that. But the annoying thing too is when I went to pack them, it sounded like the stuff was loose in the box, and they were both new in box. So I was like, oh, what do I do? Because it's like I could reopen this packaging that took forever to pack, but then it's new in box. So even then, I couldn't reseat everything. So hopefully, I'm not going to get a return. Anyways, hope for the best.
Yeah.
So, anyways, my point being, I spent so much time dealing with this stuff, and you have new in box. You just put, you still pack it in another box, but so quick and the same profit. It's just like, oh my god, this is killing me.
Yeah. No, that's part of the appeal.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, I'm sure everybody knows about it, but it was 5 grand. But part of the appeal, first of all, is there was pure volume and it was good stuff, right?
yeah, good stuff.
How good? I wasn't like I'm pleasantly surprised how quickly these things are moving and how desirable they are. But getting back to your point, they're in the box with the foam inserts.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So yeah, I just kind of wrap them up with a little thin, like the smaller bubble wrap thing, just to kind of give it a little bit of a protective appeal. But really, I'm just putting them in these small boxes and shipping. Everything's going to the States. So I'm charging $10 and it's either
yeah.
like $7 to $9 for in that range for shipping, depending on what size. So I'm even making a buck or two off the shipping, right? So
Wow. Ironically, I have an empty box of those around here somewhere, but whatever.
of toy soldiers.
Yeah, but it's just the box with the foam insert because someone took the piece from inside. Anyways, but
So I don't know if it's a newer or older, but I sold some of the older box out of my booth. So they were Britons, and I sold the boxes for 12 or 15 bucks a piece.
yeah, these were King Country box. I might have donated it actually, to be honest. Empty
Yeah.
box. I don't know if I did that or not. I was trying to get rid of stuff because like this week I went to auction. I went to a live auction, and
Oh,
I'm sure you know what a live auction is like. You get so much stuff,
so much stuff. Yeah.
and like I would say, like when you're buying these big lots, often I don't even know what I'm buying. Like, I figured out I need glasses because half the time I couldn't even see what I was buying.
Well, sometimes you get stuff that you don't want to. Like that's what happened to me last weekend, last Saturday. Is you just keep getting stuff pushed to an item that you want. So nobody wants something. Nobody wants something, and you usually it comes in big lots and stuff, right? Like
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, so often they'll push it a lot. So if like no one wants a box, right? And they don't go lower than $5, right? Then they'll say, okay, add something to that lot.
yes, exactly,
And so often like you might be interested in the second box that's attached to it, but you don't want the first box.
right.
So often you get
A lot of garbage.
a lot of garbage.
Yeah,
Yeah. And that's the good thing and downside, I think, with these live auctions is that you get a lot of garbage, and if you're not careful, you're gonna get buried in it. And you think, well, I can get $1 out of this, but really, sometimes it's not even worth the time. The demand is so low for this stuff, or sometimes you make mistakes. Like sometimes I'll buy bookends, right? And I bought bookends for $5. Well, they're completely garbage. Like they're gonna be like I just basically blew away five
yeah,
bucks, or you get excited like the auctioneer says something, and I bought a pair of shoes for $7. They're garbage. They're literally garbage. I paid $7 for garbage, right? But sometimes like I bought a bunch of bells for $5 and I've already sold five of the bells for $20, right? So I already got my money back and I have like a whole bunch of bells left. So like it's really a mix. Like the live auctions are cool, but they're very exhausting and they take a lot of time. Like I was there for 8 hours.
yeah. Um, yeah. I mean, the one I go to, I'm driving a couple hours there, like an hour plus there, an hour plus back, um, and it's at least 6 hours, depending on how much stuff they have.
Yeah.
Um, but I've really toned down what I used to do just because I have a lot of inventory. So I'm forced to tone it down. And actually, we're always learning, Carl. You know what I mean? Like, okay, so I've learned how to hoard a ton of shit from an auction, but I've also learned I don't need a ton of stuff. Like
Yeah.
it's the amount of work that it takes to go through some of that stuff isn't worth the time it takes to find some stuff. So I'm paying closer attention to things and I'm turning a lot of things down. So, for instance, glass,
Oh,
it
glass.
looks fine, it can get it cheap, but I don't want my booth really to have more than 5-10% of glass. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I'm more like saying 5%. Like, and it can get filled up very quickly and it can take a long time to move. So a lot of times it's chipped or broken anyways because you're getting it cheap. And so now I'm pretty much staying away from glass. If it's like one unique, really cool piece, maybe I'll grab it if it's cheap. But I've learned to not try to make a buck on every single thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like
And
when
the
I was
time that it's saving me, not only just going through it and having to discard it and everything, but I got to load my entire truck up where now I can load like 5 or 6 boxes and it's not all that crap. It's like very good stuff. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. Like some of
So
the stuff
I've calmed it down, I guess.
I think is good because it's like, you're talking about glass. I saw huge double, triple box lots of clear glass selling for $5.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't want any of it. There
Right.
might be one or two pieces in there, but you really have to be careful because you're going to just fill up your car with clear glass very easily at these auctions, right?
Yep.
Or like I said, you you do a preview, right? And I know you said you don't always show up for the full preview, but I try to show up for the whole preview. Like usually it's an hour before, but even then you can't see everything because there'll be stuff hidden or stuff you never noticed, or like people are always in the way when you're trying to look and you didn't get a really close look. And so I've learned to be like when I'm at the auction, like what the last thing I want to do at these live auctions is sit there for 8 hours and not buy anything. And so sometimes you're tempted to start bidding, right? Um, but often now I'm much more willing to take risks as well. Like, and hopefully not too many of them are not going to pay off. Like I said, I bought these bookends, right? I shouldn't have bought, but I bought other lots that will pay off for cheap as well, right? Like those bells, like I said. The nice thing about bells is I just put up a little sign in my flea market, $5 a bell or $6 a bell, and just put all the bells together. There's no work. And because this is like a bunch of like objects, all bells, I didn't worry if one's worth seven. I wasn't worried if one is worth three. I just put them together. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yep.
So there's some advantage. And when I bought those bells at the auction, I think I paid $5 or $7. I can't remember. Um, I didn't really even look at them pre-hand. I just went, okay, that's a lot of bells. It's all in one lot. It wasn't by choice. Um, so it was worth it. You know what I mean? But
Are they like ornate brass bells,
yeah,
cowbells?
brass, just like like come to dinner bells, kind of. One's
Okay.
literally a school bell, right? It
Yeah.
wasn't the big conkers like you guys were showing on the show. They weren't like
Well,
sleigh bells or anything like that.
no, but the little bells sell too, and I'll put 12.95 each up to $20 depending on what it is and how crazy it is. And then some of them, if they have like a pixie on it or they have something interesting and very like because some of them are cast and they're almost like blurry cast. They're not
Yeah,
very detailed. But if
no,
I get something like really detailed and really nice, I might put those online, and then sometimes you'll get weird ones. Like there's one like it's a Victorian woman, and the clapper, which is the thing that moves back and forth, that hits the bell and makes the sound, was her feet. It wasn't like a
all right.
round. It was her feet. I think she goes for like $200 or something crazy.
Yeah, I only noticed one bell, and this one was kind of had an elephant on top. That was kind of cool,
Yeah,
but the rest were very generic bells. So
and some of them can be generic looking, but they might have like like I mean I'm kind of going back to like a cowbell, but they have like image of a beaver and it says Canada on them, or
Yeah.
they could have French language, like very Canadiana type stuff. So those can get, 40 to 60 bucks as well, right? So
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing too. Is like when I buy these lots, like for example, another bought a little lot I bought for $5 is like these cigarette silks that you see everywhere, right?
yeah.
And I know, like after researching them and getting them and physically touching them, and like, okay, I need to research this. They're never worth anything. There's only a
Well,
few exceptions for some sports, some pinup girls, and
there's
Indian.
military soldier ones I've sold before, and they're okay. They might not be worth a ton, but I mean, you could put a dozen together for 35, 40 bucks.
Yeah, I guess like I didn't like my point being that I now know about silks,
Okay.
right? As before, I didn't know about silks and I just ignored them. But now I know it's like, okay, at least some of these are worth some money that is worth that $5 or $10, right?
Yeah.
So, I also got a bunch of those like tin types, like a
Okay.
ton of tin types. So
Which can be very good. Do you
there's
know
some
about
interesting
do you know
ones.
about tin types at all, or
Well, a little bit, just I know the photographs.
yeah, yeah.
Like I look for ones that I was trying to look for ones like I bought the bar. I paid a lot because I got a whole bunch of interesting photos, including someone from Asia who was dressed in Western garb, which was really cool. Uh, so it's like that might sell just out of curiosity, right? But I got a
Well,
huge lot of that stuff, and I paid up. I paid $40, but
so
there's
is it
more
like a
stuff
street
there.
scene in Asia?
No, 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 no. It's just a guy who came to the West, but
Oh,
he was 100 years old, and he was dressed in like it was an interesting photo. Anyways, it's a little different than the normal like his dad and the kid, like you see 1,000,
right.
right?
Yeah.
So
So some tin types can be very good, and if at all able to figure out who it is, like maybe there was an album or there's some paperwork that kind of says a family that it could be from. Like,
so these were ripped out of an album. I can tell because you can see the paper on the back. Someone
okay,
had them in the album at once. But you know what the funny thing is about this auction? A lot of the stuff there was actually put there by
oh,
my friend John,
okay,
who had to close down his booth because the mall changed and he's getting rid of a whole bunch of stuff. So it was hilarious because it's like actually my friend. So I could see a lot of his stuff was stuff from his booth
yep.
that he was just getting rid of because they literally still had the prices on the bottom. I'm not quite sure about these tintypes if they were from him or for someone else, but a lot of it was ex booth stuff.
And and
Um,
and here's the thing about, from my experience, about people who sell from the booth that want to get rid of stuff. They don't sell on eBay.
no, he doesn't sell on eBay.
So in most cases that is the case too. So he's getting rid of tin types because the clientele may have changed at the booth, but tin types can do very decent, especially if you can get a whole box of them and you put like 5 or 6 similar themed related. You might get 60 bucks or 50 bucks for a dozen, half a dozen similarly themed related tin types.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
and, and I'm not saying you don't know that. I'm just kind of talking, but the booth guy doesn't know that, or the booth guy doesn't want to sell on eBay, so he has to get rid of them now. And that's where I come in and swoop down like a seagull getting a dead fish out of the water.
Well, speaking of dead fish, also I realized when a lot of these lots come up is the stuff he wasn't able to sell at all. So it might be that the right clientele didn't come along, or it could be dead stock, right? So
um Dude, like, I find kind of that's where I can get stuff really cheap that does well on eBay. Ephemera is one of those things that
yeah, I wish there was more ephemera at this auction, but there
yeah,
wasn't.
like people can't get rid of it out of the booth because it takes up space, it takes up, so that's money, that's time,
Yeah,
and people are just kind of wandering around and they buy on impulse a lot of times. So that ephemera stuff can sit around, but you can buy a whole chunk of it for $10. That's what those travel brochures. That's what I did. The guy couldn't move it, so he put all his stuff in an auction. Well, I paid $10 for that, and it was like gold, man. You know?
Yeah. And even though this was dead stock, I might have been buying too. It's like I got it so cheap
Yeah,
that it didn't really matter, right?
yeah. So you're not dead stocking. You're not filling your booth with dead stock. You're getting it cheap because it's going to go on eBay.
Yeah.
If I
Yeah.
put
Like,
those travel brochures in my booth, people are going to like not. They're not going to care. They're not. They're just going to walk by it.
why would I buy something from 1920s California in Ontario? Like,
Yeah.
it's not going to
Well,
help me at all.
yeah. Like
It's out of
it's not.
date.
But when you put him, that's what I got it from is from a booth guy. You know,
Yeah.
like he wasn't from our store, but the auction was his stuff, and he was from a different antique store.
Yeah.
Right? They were getting out of the business, and dude, that stuff was gold. You know?
I think the key thing with these live auctions is you have to realize it's not just the buying, it's the processing that's going to take just as long. And you'll get surprises. Unfortunately, there was one of those mixed locks, collector's lots, like, when they have a box full of stuff where I found really good stuff. And that, of course, went for expensive money. It's like $50. And it's like, I could tell the guy wasn't giving up. It's like, oh man, I didn't see enough in there just to buy that $50. And
Yeah,
of course, I've been waiting around for that stupid box lot right to the very end of the
I know.
auction.
It's frustrating, bud. I know.
It's like, oh,
Yeah,
I was there for so long, I didn't even get the one thing I really wanted.
yeah. It's the way it
But
goes. It's the
at the
way it
end of the
goes.
auction, it was funny. My friend John, like any lots that didn't sell and they passed on, he just gave to people because he's like, I'm not bringing this back home. You want, like, I got a bunch of cameras from him. I said,
Oh,
John, do
okay.
you mind if I take these? He said, yeah, go. Like, they're not that great. Otherwise, they would have sold in the auction, right?
Yeah.
But if you want free stuff, like, he's like, yeah. I got, actually, I got. It's funny. I got a bunch of Martha Stewart Christmas balls. My wife's happy because she likes Martha Stewart, and we got all this stuff. He gave it to me for free, right? So there's that. But like, I got board games for like 50 cents each, kind of stuff too.
Oh, jeez.
But I just have to make sure that like it processes it. And I find board games don't really sell well out of the flea market booth. I haven't figured out where to put that stuff yet because it's like it takes up a lot of room and it's cheap.
Yeah.
So, and there's low demand. So a lot of it's going to get donated, I think.
But it's probably worth it just to find that one piece, right? Because they're easy to sort. That kind of stuff is easy to go through and figure out.
Or sell for parts. Like I might rip the parts out of some of them, but anyways, yeah. So it was live auction, and the flea market booth was dead again. I think I sold $65 worth of stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
So is it the store is slow, or
Yes.
you're okay? So the way I look at it is, if the store is slow, that's fine. If everybody's busy but you, then you got to figure it out. But if the store's slow, it'll turn around. I mean, it's the calm before the storm. We're getting into October, which has always been my best month, but then we're getting right into Christmas too, right? So,
I'll give it to
um,
January. I'll give it to January, and we'll see how it goes, and go from there. I really would. I was listening to your Sunday night show there, and
yeah.
you're talking about like how display cabinets cost a lot of money, and maybe that's why I'm having problems finding them because it's like I'm sick of my stupid black shelving, but I can't easily replace it. So that's my next step. But
Well, I said they costed me more than what I really wanted to pay. Like I was hoping 50, $60 because there was just so many.
yeah,
But at the same time, to pay 100, I think the better one was 125. It's an easily 400, maybe 450 to $500 cabinet out of my booth. So did I overpay? Not really, but I paid more than I was hoping to.
yeah.
Then the other one was a shelf, and it could probably go for $300, $400, and I paid $100 for it. And then the other one, I paid 25, and I don't know. It's the one Steph likes the most, but they had modified it. They had stripped it down and then stained it green,
Oh
except
yeah.
for the back. The back, because it's against the wall, is still the old color, the old brown stain. But it's very clean and sharp looking, and the green does stand out. So for $25, it was one of those silly things where you're trying to go through your head, what will people want and where can I kind of, so do I go down to $5 and then get in a battle with somebody who is going to pay higher? Like I was just trying to strategically plan it. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to pop it up at 25. That's what I was willing to pay. Boom, 25. And then nobody bid in. And I'm like, you know what? Why did I do that? I could have
I
went down
know.
to $5 and had
I
this cabinet for five
it
bucks.
That's funny you say that because I always wait till 5. 'Cause what I
I,
hate is
I,
I say 10 and then no one bids, and then it's like, well, could I have gone in for 5?
yeah,
But you don't really know because you don't know if you would have spurred someone else on.
yes, and that's the thing. And the thing was, it was the very last cabinet, and some of these other ones were going for like $600. Like,
So your
I'm like,
25 might have worked actually, right?
it might have, but I don't know. Like, okay,
Yeah, you
listen,
don't
it's
know.
only a difference of $20, but I mean,
I
it's
know
just
it's
the
funny, eh?
principle. Like, you go there to win, right? And to win an auction, you go low. And I give Steph crap for that all the time. I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you bidding at $50? Let it go to 5. You know what I
I
mean? Like,
know.
but
There's no way I'd go with anyone else. This is definitely a solitary uh thing for me.
yeah, Steph goes.
It's a long
She does
day.
like 1 out of 10 times, right? Like,
Okay, yeah.
yeah. So she might go with me Saturday, if she's got nothing planned.
Evie and I will like pull out like I'll like read stuff on my phone on lots because there'll be a bunch of lots they don't care about, right? Like they actually were selling guns at this one.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So I didn't pay attention to that because I'm not going to buy a gun. So they went for good money though, like 400 or 500 bucks for
yeah,
guns. So,
yeah.
and they're
It's a um, yeah. That's it's just that can be a very touchy kind of thing, right? Like, but usually they're just older collectibles, anyways, right? So
no, these were rifles, hunting
you like
rifles.
modern,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. It wasn't touchy. You needed your license,
yeah. No, I
and
know, but people can get upset with that. Like I put a BB gun in my booth, and people complain.
oh really?
Yeah,
Oh
they
no.
come from the city. Oh, why has he got a gun in his boot? Well, it's a BB gun.
Oh right.
You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah,
could
these
shoot
were
your eye
all.
out with that, kid. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's
I
one of
guess.
those things. Like, and it's locked in a case, and it's a BB gun. You know, but they get all crazy.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Well, that was an issue at this auction. Everyone's just like, oh, they're hunting rifles, you know. So how's your week?
My week is going good, Carl. Like I've said this before. I hate saying it, but like I'm riding the wave of good luck right now, and I know that, and I know it could swing, it could change differently anytime.
Uh huh.
But those toy soldiers are like little nuggets of gold. You know what I mean? They
Yeah,
really are.
it's like you're
Um,
panning for gold in those boxes. It's like, oh, here's
yeah,
a $250 piece.
yeah.
Oh, this one's
It
50. This is 350. Yeah.
like don't get me wrong. There has been probably out of two boxes, let's say 120 pieces. There might have been five that were damaged to a degree.
Yeah.
So, like for instance, there's a couple where the head is supposed to be able to be removed. Well, he glued them so that they wouldn't,
Mm.
right? So I'm just going to put them in the booth. I'll put on the tag what has happened. They look great. You can't tell it except for when you go to pack them in the box, there's a little slot in the foam for the head. And I'm thinking, "Oh, there's probably a weapon or something and it's missing." And then I go and Google the number, the model number. Well, no, his head comes off and it fits in there, right?
Oh,
So
yeah, yeah.
so I'm like, oh geez. So um yeah, so there's a couple of that, but okay, so it's $125 piece. I'll put it in the booth for $50. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And
Yeah.
somebody will buy it anyways. It looks great. Um and then there's one where the arm had broken because they're metal, right? So they had, but I mean, what is it? 5 pieces. I'm still going to make some money back on them, and but
Yeah.
other than
I'm not
that,
shedding any tears for you, Scott.
no, no. But I'm just saying, like, it's not a complete mid situation.
Oh no.
But dude, a lot of these are absolutely mid. I would say
Yeah.
98% is
Yeah.
like is
That's so
great,
good.
and that's why I like the booth too. It does give me the option to put them there. Obviously, I'll disclose it on the tag what's going on, But I'm also going to put some really good, perfect ones in the booth as well because I want to see how they do. And that's the reason I bought the one display case for 125 because it'll they'll look phenomenal in there. These
Yeah.
things, like one guy's bought 7, bought 3, 2. You know what I mean? All sorts of stuff. They've ranged from 350 to 50, 40 bucks, 50 bucks. But it's yeah. I'm probably like conservatively, I've got half my money back of the 5 grand, and it's been what, a week
Yeah.
Monday since I started listing them. So
Crazy. Good.
yeah, and I'm doing all the King and Country, and then I'll start looking at doing another one, probably the Britons. I also have First Legion. Like but I'm really trying to. I'm gonna the King and Country seem to be the best for anybody out there looking for this type of collection. Like King and Country is really good. Um, but I'm trying to feed the beast because these guys know I'm here, so they're like piranhas coming in and grabbing these things. So I want to keep feeding the King of Country, right?
I'd be curious how many watchers you got on your store since you started
Yeah,
posting.
that's a good point. I should check that out, right?
But do
So,
you know how many you had before?
uh, well, I'll notice a jump. I'm
Okay.
thinking.
Like I meant like
I don't really know. I don't
yeah,
really
because I
know.
have no idea how many people are watching my store.
Yeah,
I
I
don't.
think
I
the
never look.
analytics might tell me, right? If I
Oh,
go,
really? Okay.
maybe I don't know. I
Well,
don't know.
yeah, yeah. Oh, speaking of that, did you fact check me? You remember last episode you said, "Oh, I'm going to fact check you, Carl. I'm going to come check it out."
Well, and I did say I could be wrong, but I
Oh, here
think this is
we
what I
go.
think. So
Uh-huh.
I could not find buyers, but I was seeing what you're saying with is it
Concurrent
users
users,
or
concurrent.
users,
No,
right? They called it something different. They
active
called
users. Sorry,
it active
active.
users.
Yeah.
Um, so actually, it comes if you look at this, if you look at uh, I guess graphs, 2018 was probably the best year eBay has ever had.
In terms of active users.
Active users. It
Yeah,
seems like that was the peak.
that's what I was saying last time. Yeah.
Yeah. So I figured the peak would have been in like 2020, 2021 because of the pandemic. Like
Well,
I
sales
said,
went up. Sales went up.
I
Yeah.
could see 2020 and 2021 having more buyers. I use the word buyers, but I couldn't find the buyers. I could only find users. But let's just say I said there would be more buyers in 2021 or 2020 and 2021 than now, but I wouldn't say 2018 would have more than now. You know what I mean? I just figured the pandemic might have skewed that number, but it didn't. 2018 was even higher than that. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying for the amount of like I think they're making more money or there's more sales, but you're right as far as active users, you were right there.
Oh, oh.
But
Wow.
again, I couldn't find the buyers, and that was the term I was using was active
Oh,
buyers. But
right.
I couldn't find that. They just say active users. So they're hiding something there. They're hiding.
Wow. Okay. Okay. I just wanted to hear that. I just wanted to hear like I was right and you were wrong, and now I'm
Well,
gonna
I
sing I
mean,
was right
was
song.
I really wrong when I said
Yes.
I could be wrong, but this is what my gut feeling
Yes.
tells me. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not like I said this is concrete, Carl. This is the way it is. I
I
said
accept your
I could
defeat,
be wrong,
Scott.
but you know, I
Hey,
highly suspect that I'm not wrong. So
I just trying to make myself feel better about all your stupid soldiers. Give me a little win. Come on.
you got a little win. You got a
Ah,
little
thank you. Thank you. Okay, we can drop that. I just had to mention it. It was funny because I was
but
listening to that.
I did
I was
finally
listening
look
to the
something up.
podcast. And it was funny. It
I
was like,
yeah, I did finally look something up, and that's I was seeing the same stuff. Um, but I mean, it makes sense too. But I mean, I think on the big picture, it doesn't really tell the story that we were originally talking about, and that is how to bring young people into eBay. That's kind of how it started, and I don't think eBay is designed for young people because it's selling nostalgia, and people have to be a certain age before nostalgia matters. You know what I mean? You're not going to be 5 years old and say, man, I want that toy when I was one. You know what I mean? But once you hit in your 25, 30, 35, you start looking back and wanting that kind of stuff again, right? So nostalgia, I think you have to reach a certain age before it matters. And I think that's what eBay's known for. At least that's what I know it for.
Yeah, and when I was listening to the podcast, I never said it was going to die tomorrow. I just say the the boat is churning when they have to figure out how to turn it back. But there's a long time before that boat hits the shore.
Well,
There's gonna
I
be like
also
years
I
and
also
years
did
and
say
years
in
and
my
years.
lifetime, which we don't know how long that is, but
No.
no, but seriously, I think from in my point of perspective, and you could correct me again here, Carl, because I'll believe whatever you say. You are the Almighty right now. Right?
Oh,
You
excellent. I like
you
this.
hold the conch. What Carl says goes. But I honestly think Facebook Marketplace has probably paid its toll on a lot of types of business because
Yeah.
anybody can put it on Facebook. And
I hate Facebook.
well, I think dealers don't like it, because you're
No,
not
people
finding the
love it.
deals that you used to. I think we used to
Oh,
like
that's
it,
true. That's true.
right?
That's true. I've heard that as well. Yeah.
But I think it's very simple for people to use, at least here in Canada. I think the US might be a little bit different.
They
But
have a
here,
fee structure down there that I don't think we have here yet for
but
selling.
but I don't think Facebook is quite the same as eBay because you kind of get flooded and you're kind of pushed the items to you rather than you find the items. I don't know. It could be a little
My
bit off
biggest
there.
pet peeve with the Facebook Marketplace is people put the price as $1, and you actually have
Right.
to go and read and see what the real price is. So they put free,
Yes.
and it's not free. It's just very time consuming that way. Um,
I think as a
Now,
seller, it's frustrating too because you got all these people don't show up and all these
is this still
ghost
available?
calls.
Is this still available?
Yeah,
Yeah, flaky buyer. Like that's the reason I won't sell them. It's too. It wasn't worth the time.
it's not.
It like to me, it's like I would sit around all day waiting for someone to show or not show up, and it was just a. I didn't like that. Like some people love it though. Like some people that's their majority way of selling, right?
Yeah, and if
You
you're
know,
just
I
getting
also think it like to be blunt. When you sell that way, it's often in cash.
and yeah,
So
and
there's
and
that aspect too.
and well, you could use your Square,
Oh, you can do e-transfers too, yes.
but
I for deals and I haven't gotten into that habit. I periodically go, "Oh yeah, Facebook." You know what I mean? And right now I'm surrounded by inventory I need to process, so I know I should be always looking for those great deals, but sometimes you it's like "Ugh, the car's full. I haven't brought in the stuff yet. Amy's looking at me saying you need to bring this stuff downstairs." Like, you
well,
get
yeah, you don't.
overwhelmed too if
I
you're
mean, I mean, the amount of time to go searching through Facebook Marketplace to find one item that you're going to go and drive to and maybe and like it. Um, Sometimes that I don't think that is there for me right now. Like I'd rather go buy a bulk purchase or a private pick or go
yeah.
through some yard sales, hit the auctions. I'm getting inundated with product just doing that kind of stuff.
It
So
yeah,
so it's very time consuming to go
it is.
through Facebook.
It's
Um,
at least half an hour to drive there, at least half an hour wherever they are almost. And the BS while you're there and the time so it's going to cost you an hour and a half or 2 hours of time.
but I think for people like just doing it as a hobby or they got something laying around, oh, I'll throw this up.
Yeah.
For that kind of person, I think it works good.
Mhm.
And collectors can get in there and they can buy locally and they can go see it and they can say no or they can haggle a little bit as well. But I think maybe Facebook might kind of hit eBay a little harder, but I don't really know of enough. Like I'm not afraid of whatnot. Like that doesn't really do anything to my what I sell. Um, I don't know much about Poshmark, but I think that's mostly clothing. So there's a lot of those things that don't even affect me because they don't deal with what I sell.
You're critical not on capital, not on inventory, but on time really, right?
Yeah.
Like if you get buy more stuff, it would be time, right? Because you have so much inventory. It's a basis of like you just need more time to list it, right? And like we all go through different cycles of that. But
But dude, I like it's crazy because I had this place just rocking for working, and then I got hit with three, like a couple private picks.
yeah,
I got the soldiers, which is 18 large boxes full of little boxes, and I hit an auction, and all of a sudden now my work area is bombarded again. Now we had a couple yard sales of the crap, so there's places that I can take this stuff, but I'm like, I'm just going to move it there, and a week later I'm going to move it back. So maybe I should just work around it. You know what I mean? And
I know.
it's such a
Because I know what happens, right? And I'm tempted to do this right now after the show. Is I have a whole bunch of empty bins.
yeah.
I take all the stuff I brought home, I put it in those bins just to get out of the way temporarily. And then 5 years later, I'll reopen that bin and go, oh, yeah, I bought all this stuff. Right.
It
So
happens, dude. And then
it,
you're like,
it
wow,
that's
why didn't I put this up here? It's worth
I
like
know.
$100 or two
I
hundred
know.
bucks.
You know how many cameras I'm backlogged on?
Yeah. Call Adam.
I want the money.
You're not, it's not doing, you're not making money when it's sitting in a box, dude.
Oh, potential. Anyways,
The potential.
that's the negative thing about this game is it can overwhelm you so quick if you're not careful. Um,
Yeah.
and like or the research holes where it's like, oh, this thing must be worth money, but you can't find it, and I'm scared of giving away money. But what I'm thinking of, one last thing is what I'm thinking about doing is putting a junk drawer lot at the flea market
Okay.
and just having one box and just throwing everything that's $1 in that one box and saying anything that's $1 goes in here, and if it doesn't fit in here, it's not in my booth, because it's starting to spread out those dollar items throughout my booth.
Yeah.
And what I actually did on the last weekends, I started purging a little bit already of stuff like this does not belong in this flea market. There's no demand online. There's no demand here. No one wants this stuff. It might be worth $1, but I'm not going to get it for years. So I'm going to put it in a big box and just say, here, dig if you want. But if this starts overflowing, I'm just going to take a bag, fill the bag of those dollar items and donate it. So,
Well, I'm gonna say if you put it in a deep box, they're probably not gonna dig. They might skim the top. But if you
yeah,
put it
shallow
in a
box. Yeah.
like a 2 or 3 inch kind of like a cardboard tray that you might get pop or something in,
Yeah.
or actually get a wooden drawer, that's what 3 inches deep, and fill that up, you're more apt to more ought to sell that stuff. I've even done that, and I put junk drawer,
Oh, I'm going
and
to
I
write that.
huh
I'm going to write drunk drawer
yeah.
$1.
So I put junk. I painted like junk drawer on the wooden drawer, and people dig through it.
Yeah.
I put $2 or $3, or sometimes some things are $5, but I'll
Like
put like keychains.
weird shit, like wooden shoes. Like,
See, that would be too big for my junk drawer. Like I put
oh,
like
really?
keychains, or like maybe a kid's Lego watch, or I'm just trying to like a brooch or something like that. Yeah, like so they're kind of collectible and they're fun. And people will dig through keychains. Sometimes like if I have a lot of keychains, I'll just put them in their own little basket, right?
Yeah.
I'll put them in the little bags, and I'll put like $3 to $5 on it. And people love the keychains. People will buy 2 or 3 keychains. It's I don't know if they're collecting them or if they're using them or what, but probably both. But usually I try to get something vintage. You know what I mean? Vintage
Mhm.
related, because they're just more rare. But yeah, junk drawer works. Just I think if it's too deep of a box and the items are small, I think it's people just don't want to. They're lazy, you know. But what do you think of Carl?
I was just looking at all the junk I can put in there. Like, what do I do with this? Like, I'm showing an acrylic block with like the 3D stuff in the middle.
Yeah,
I think I got it in junk. I got it, who knows, in a baggie or something. I didn't buy this on purpose.
yeah.
I'd probably just donate this stuff, but
Um,
or put it in, like, give it a month. Like I said, just make sure that junk drawer is like being recycled constantly, and like give it a month, and then like, okay, dump it. But we'll see. Like I said, I'm still learning.
I
So,
wouldn't even have like a shelf designated to those things because they're going to be more of an impulse buy. You got $3 to $5 on it. It's a very inexpensive impulse buy, right?
mm,
But if you have it buried, I don't know if people would like. I don't know. I think that looks nicer displayed. Like I don't want to tell
I'm
you what to
not even
do. I'm
planning
just
on
trying
taking
to
it in.
visualize it as a
Yeah,
buyer.
yeah. But
Like,
you
would
can
you
wear
think that would work?
a little
What's
side
that?
buckles. This is a money clip for Pez.
Oh, that's great. That's a perfect. Yeah, I. That's great.
I don't know if I put that in the junk drawer. I might see if I can get a bit more, but
Yeah, I think that's a great item. That's very collectible for sure. Pez
get a lot of
collectors
stuff
love that
there
shit.
too. You know,
Huh. Back when I was a sheriff,
yeah.
sheriff badge.
So should we?
Is that
Yeah,
is that a real brass one?
yeah. I think it feels like it might be a real. I'm showing a sheriff's badge, Deputy Sheriff Laramie. Laramie sounds.
So you might did you Google lens that?
Yeah, I saw a couple people selling it for cheap.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know
I
what it is.
can't. It's hard to tell through the camera and the glare on the light from the light, but it kind of looked
Yeah,
like it might be something interesting.
what I'm showing is like just junk stuff I got in the box lots, and someone else probably tried to sell it. They never could sell it, and but so we're an hour in. Do you want to get
Okay.
into the comments?
Yeah. Is there
Or
anything else you want to talk about before we get to the comments? Or
I don't think
like
so. It's
I'm going to another auction this weekend. I'm looking forward to that. I
oh yeah,
just like going and have fun. Um, one of the things is, and they're really good to me. The auction place that's I've been going there for a number of years now, and I bought the cabinets. And he goes, "You got blankets to cover those up?" And I said, "No, I think they'll be okay. I'll just push them together and strap them down." He goes, "Let me go get you some blankets so you don't damage them."
scratch it. Yeah,
Then he comes back with blankets and very happy. And he goes, "But this way, I know when you return them, you have to come back."
I
So,
know, right?
so now I'm like, "Well, I gotta go, Steph."
Oh, dude, I saw so much cheap furniture go. Like
I know, I
no one
know.
wants it.
Well, it's not that they don't want it; they don't want to deal with it as a seller.
Yeah,
Um, if you were to get that stuff, there's buyers out there for it, but you got to lug it around. We've talked about this before, and it takes up so much room in the booth. And the problem with the dealers, like some people don't have trucks, and if you have a truck, you're limited to a piece or two. And then some people don't have. Most people don't come with trailers. Like very few people come with
I only
trailers.
saw one. I saw trailers, but not a lot. No.
Yeah. So, um, yeah. So that's the thing. Like, and it's certain furnitures too, right? Not every
Did
furniture is going to sell. That's for sure.
Did you go to garage sales this last weekend?
No, no, I was at the auction.
All right, I didn't even look. I don't. I'm not even looking anymore. I think they're pretty well done.
Yeah, a friend of mine went. He went to a couple, nothing, and then he went to a couple antique stores, kind of relatively close to this area, including Waterford. And he said he didn't get anything.
No.
So he yard sales or like he just didn't see anything that was good to sell and for the right price, right? So but yeah, so the auctions are fun. I look forward to them. Um, and I can't wait to this weekend because I think it's going to be a really good one. But I think honestly, I'm going to have to slow it down after this weekend and just get a lot of the stuff listed,
That's
right?
where I am at. I need to process this stuff.
Yeah, I'm going just for fun and to hopefully find a few things that are very very cheap, but yet have value. I'm not going on it. If I leave there with nothing, it's probably just as a successful day as leaving
I
there with
know, right?
something good.
I know.
Because I just got so much, and I got all those toy soldiers to go through. So it'd be silly for me to go fill the truck up, and and then be slowed down because I just have no room to move. But I will go and try to find a few pieces and go for fun and return those blankets. Right. So
I'm trying to avoid overwhelm at this point. So And I don't know about you, but weeks are just flying by.
They
So
are, dude, it's crazy how fast things are going. I can't even like fathom it in my brain,
no.
right? Like yeah, things are just flying by, you know. But all right, buddy, let's get to the comments. And
Yeah.
I got to go to the booth today, so I got a big day. I'm going to go meet Grouchy Fish.
Oh, when are you meeting? Soon. So we got to get through these.
Yeah. So, all right. Do you want to start first? Or you want me to start first?
I'll start first.
Okay.
Doing it wrong. For the preferred selling platform conversation, eBay isn't going to die by a single platform taking it over. I agree. eBay is getting killed from a death from 1,000 paper cuts. All the smaller platforms continue to cut into eBay's market share. I agree with that too. Whatnot, District, Depop, Mercari, Etsy, Poshmark, Bricklink, Discogs, and I don't know what other platforms can continue to take market share because they're better in their own small niche. Yeah, that's true.
Well,
eBay was king of everything, and now you see them trying to fight back a little bit by doing like things for sneakers and for sports cards and stuff like that.
yeah, but I don't know how much money these places are, these other platforms are making. Like, are they really making money? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, that I can't answer, but
Like,
still,
it's got to be
even then,
very
it takes the
expensive
market share
to.
away.
It's got to be very expensive to run one of these businesses.
You would think so.
Yeah. So, um,
You
they come
know,
and go, but
yeah, I think eBay can turn it around. Like we've talked about before, they've done a lot of positive changes. One weird thing they've I don't even want to talk about it because I don't know anything about it, but supposedly they stopped in the UK. They stopped charging sellers to sell stuff, which doesn't make any sense because that's how they make their money. So I'll have to look into that and maybe get back to us on the next show. But that was a weird one. Anyways, I shouldn't even mention that one. So the overall market for resale has grown, meaning there are more overall buyers, but the percentage of eBay buyers is shrinking. Yeah, not just percentage though, but it's also actually numbers. So eBay isn't really losing as many buyers, but they're losing market potential to other platforms. Market size versus market share. Yeah, when I actually looked at the graphs, they're actually losing gross number of buyers, but the amount of stuff they're selling was increased during COVID by a lot. So I'm not sure how they're quite doing right now, but it like I said, they're not going away anytime soon. So it's
well,
all good.
and as their seller, like I look at it this way.
Hmm.
It doesn't. First of all, eh, as a seller, as a buyer, it doesn't hurt that the big guy has a little competition behind him too, right?
Oh
Like,
yeah, they would totally take it to us if they didn't have any competition.
yeah. So it's not that bad that way. But if you want to go after those buyers that maybe aren't on eBay, I mean, it's easy to adapt and cross list with List Perfectly and different place, different things, cross listing things out there. It's you can still get to those buyers by listing on other platforms, right? Like, um, I I'm I use the booth, so I'm hitting all the local people that are interested in buying what the genre of stuff I sell, the type of stuff. Um, but I mean, you could use Etsy, you could use Poshmark, and all these other places in addition to eBay. So as a reseller, it's not hurting you. It, I,
No.
I does that make sense? I
Yeah.
don't know.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
no, more places to sell, the better it is.
yeah,
Of course, I'm still really only selling on eBay though.
yeah. Same here. And, well, I have the booth, right?
And the
That's
booth. And the booth,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, those two are keeping me going. I slowed down on I pretty much stalled out on Etsy because the amount of sales that was really happening there, and again, I haven't been listing since Christmas on Etsy, but just wasn't worth it. And I, there was a couple times early on where I sold an item that I didn't take off eBay, and then when I went to get it, it was not there. So I don't want to get myself in trouble. So I've just decided to go strictly eBay in the booth, and those two are working good for me, and I feel comfortable doing that. So
There's only so much time in a day.
Yeah, it really is.
So do you want to read Dawn's?
Dawn's. Oh, she just got one line
Excellent.
until you hit more. Um, all right, so let's get into Dawn's here. Camera is going to be on Two Dogs Dig. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, he
So,
couldn't show up after all. Like there
oh
was
no,
a no, it was 8 p.m. and I realized, oh, that's 5 p.m. on the West Coast. So he said, "Oh crap, I can't make it." So yeah, I teased something that didn't happen.
I briefly consider marbles, very briefly. I like glass and learning, but marbles seem like coins and stamps, a deep rabbit hole.
Yeah,
Same with me. That's the reason I don't really get into it. If I see a bunch of it for cheap, I might pick it up, but I'm going to sell it cheap, not knowing what the heck I have, right? So, Scotty, I think eBay doesn't allow railroad locks. Really? Well, I sold mine through the booth for sure, 100%. I wasn't even on eBay when I sold mine. Not sure where you sold yours through. Maybe your booth. Yes, definitely the booth. Those old locks are cool, and a display of antique locks and keys will look great on a wall. Yeah, I for sure. People will definitely display them on the wall for sure. I've seen knives and different things like that, and they really do make an interesting little. Well, I guess it's art, right? Like in a way. So 540 could,
I said, "Oh, I want to sell some things through the booth." So we keep talking about it, but it hasn't happened yet. We'll see if it actually happens.
and then 5839 baha ha ha. She's laughing.
Yeah, I'm not sure at what, but
I don't know. Probably you said something.
probably.
The big recent lot I thought was books was the soldier lot. My bad. Okay, so it was the soldier lot. Yeah. Yes, Carl, you got it right about what I meant about Instagram. They need to stage everything, the social commitment that I know I'm not going to honor, etc. It puts the emphasis on the networking part, social media network. I didn't explain that well, but yeah, like mom groups. Okay, so you were right about what she was talking about there.
Can you say that
Um,
again? Again? Sorry, I didn't hear you. Can you say that bit again?
uh, you,
Yeah, there you go. That's good.
you,
Yeah, I'm right. Okay, keep going.
Carl, do you want me to repeat that?
No, you keep going. I just had to hear it.
They aren't pushing personal stuff, but it's all like drinking my morning
Yeah,
coffee out of my favorite vintage mug before. Okay, so now Don says things here where I have to kind of take a second and let it sink in here.
they're selling a lifestyle as much as anything else. It's
Ah,
just like it's
perfect
fake, but
photo
not fake.
setup.
It's like I was trying to explain as best I could on the last one. It's just like I'm not saying it's shallow and not real. I'm just saying it has some aspects that feel like that to me a bit. But I think the people who are involved in it really enjoy it. So I'm not bashing it. I'm just saying it's not something I can do and I'm not really into, but I've always been to each their own, right? Some people get a lot of joy out of this social and commercial, maybe that's a Freudian slip, but it makes sense too. Like the commercial and community aspect of that stuff.
Okay,
So,
so I'll continue on with what she's
yep.
saying. With the perfect photo setup, does that make sense?
Or do you want me to take over? So 111. There you go, Scott. Laugh out loud. It feels fake and forced, like going to an event that is set up specifically for networking. It's like talking icebreakers online. Ugh. Two truths and a lie. Anyone? Maybe it's part of my introversion. I don't know. Laugh out loud. It's not something I enjoy, and I don't enjoy it, or it feels like an obligation. Then I will find ways to get out of it. Yeah, I can't stop. I can't. I hate that fake stuff. It's like one of the best things about retiring, especially out of government or any business, is like no more of these. Tell us something about yourself that no one else knows. Blah, blah, blah. Hated that stuff.
Who does that?
Yeah, well, in meetings, do you ever those meetings? It's like you have all these people forced into training, and the first thing they is icebreakers. Like, tell us a story that no one else knows about you. It was horrible. Anyways, we'll keep going. I don't even want
I
to relive the
dated your
horror of those
mom.
stupid meetings.
I dated your mom. Do you
Oh,
want me to keep going?
yeah.
Say that, eh? Anyway, go ahead.
And I absolutely agree that the reselling community overall is wonderful. And I have developed some really close friendships through reselling. Yeah, I find that's true too. But they happen naturally, meeting in YouTube live chats or smaller Facebook groups and just asking each other questions, not the hashtag follow Friday and hashtag share it forward Sunday or whatever the hell people use. Yeah, I agree with all that.
Do you
None
want
of
me to
what I'm
take
talking
over?
about, sorry?
Okay, go ahead.
None of what I'm talking about has to do with supporting a channel with a membership or selling stuff to each other, though. I'm talking about all the other stuff I mentioned above. I am all for supporting wherever you can, wherever you want to support. Yeah, like Don supports $1 million peddlers, right? So the girl boss thing was fuzzy, but Carl got it. The mom group vibe. Joining the Instagram reselling community feels like joining a mom group when I'm not a mom. I relate on some levels, but something's missing. I don't mean to bash other women. I support all women. It's just that the vibe puts me off. That's what I was trying to say too. It's like I don't want to bash it because I know some people like it, but it's just not for me.
Jerry Maguire.
Carl, you said you had a hard time with socially isolation during the pandemic. I was the opposite. I was made for staying away from people. That said, it definitely does have its mental, emotional consequences. I think it does, and you don't even know it's happening because it's not a one-on-one thing, right? It's something you notice later. It's like, wait a second, if I haven't talked to anyone for a while, I get sad and depressed. Meeting people naturally in person is different. I do go out sometimes. Carl, I also like listening to people talk about what they are passionate about, even if I'm not particularly passionate about the thing. Yeah, or even understand it. For me, I mean. Laugh out loud. I love the confusion about the number of users on eBay going down. I definitely believe there are less buyers on eBay now than there was in 2018. eBay overall appears to be an older audience than other platforms, including Poshmark, Etsy, Mercari in the US, and now whatnot. Ask Gen Z about eBay, and they'll probably say, wait, eBay's still a thing? Amazon's free prime shipping and next day delivery wins for most. Yeah, I agree with all of that.
Okay.
Obviously, since I said it.
So let me just stop here.
Oh man.
Okay.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is,
Old man talking.
well, everybody eventually becomes an older person. So
No.
to find, like, where are you going to go to find, you know, toy? First of all, where are you going to go and you're going to find retired uh, king and country toy soldier?
I would argue that the people buying retired king and country soldiers are in their 50s
And
or
I would
40s.
absolutely agree with you. But let's say something today, or let's say the 20-year-old today who was 10 years old 10 years ago has something Sidney Crosby related. Okay. What age are they going to say, hey, I want that because that was interesting when I was 10? That's going to happen 10 years from now, 15 years from now.
Yeah, 15. Yeah.
That might happen when they're 50. So I'm saying they're going to go to eBay when they're that age. So it's not that you're not going to get those people to buy from eBay. They're just not at that age to want to buy the stuff that's sold on eBay. And I'm not talking about the stuff from China and all the new stuff. I'm talking about basically the stuff that we're into, you know? So other than maybe a camera or something like that, because they're artsy and they want the nostalgic, they're coming to eBay for that. They're not going to Amazon because they don't want that new digital thing. They want the old film thing or they want the old digital little pocket stuff, right?
I
So that's
understand
why
what
I'm
you're
just
saying.
saying you can't go and ask the 20-year-old to come and buy on eBay because their stuff's not in eBay. But if there was a Taylor Swift ticket, and they would go to eBay for that because you're not going to go to Amazon to buy a ticket for a concert. You know what I mean? So all I'm saying is that the people that aren't buying now because they're considered young will eventually hit the age bracket and come and buy on eBay. You know what I mean? Does that make
Yes, I
sense?
understand what you're saying. You're saying as they get old, they'll naturally go to eBay.
Yeah. So if you go to, I don't know, if you go to like a shop that sells clothing that more pertains to women over 40, you're not going to see 20-year-olds in there buying the same type of clothing
until they're 40.
until they're 40.
Yeah.
So your clientele is always going to be that demographic of age, but they're going to switch to be different types of people because they're just growing into that niche.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
So that's what I think people have to, like, that's how I see it. I don't care that they're not buying now because they're going to come and buy later on.
Right. I
Right.
hope you're right.
Well, I don't know, but that's my theory on it. So
I think there's more competition now. That's the difference. Is like for us, is naturally that's eBay, but for some other people, that might be naturally Etsy or Poshmark or whatever. But I don't know.
well, as a seller, you can go on those platforms in addition to eBay if you want to. So you're fine. But I'm just thinking, like, where are those, like, who's buying what where? You know what I mean? Like, because everybody keeps saying you got to bring the younger generation in, but I can't convince the younger generation to buy something from 1960 because they don't know what it is. They don't know. They don't care about
Yeah,
it.
and I think this younger generation for me means 25 to 35.
But you said that is their primary generation now. That's what you told me last week.
Is their primary generation starting to collect?
No, that's buying on eBay. That's their primary age.
Oh no, that was for. Oh crap! Where was that?
Yeah,
Was
that's
that
what you said
that was,
because
that
I
was, that
said
was Poshmark? That was Poshmark.
no, that was eBay because I said it probably is 30 plus, and you said no, it's actually 25 to 35. And I says, well, they could
No,
get
that
into that age because I
okay.
said
I can't
it,
quite remember.
it's
But
whenever they're starting to have kids and they're starting to have their own house and place
yeah,
to
no, I
live.
agree with that.
Like my son's 26 and he's starting to look back and grab stuff that he remembers when he was younger,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So when he sees that stuff, he's intrigued. He'll see some stuff I have. Oh, I remember that. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So he's starting to get to that age now. He's 26. So I think those are the people that are going to start. Like, he's bought stuff off eBay. He doesn't buy a lot, but he doesn't really buy a lot from anywhere. But he has bought stuff off eBay.
Yeah.
He's 26. So, anywho, so that was kind of my point. Um, so that's all I'm saying is that sure we're not getting that younger base, but I don't think we're targeting that younger base. I don't think the stuff I sell is for that younger base because the stuff I
Yeah,
sell is
I
for
sell to that younger base, like the Skylanders,
okay. Okay,
Pokemon. Like
how do you do selling Skylanders? Do you do well?
I don't have any for sale right now, so
No, because you sold them.
yeah, I sold the good ones. Yeah,
Okay, so that younger base is buying. If you sell to that younger base, they must be on there buying because you just sold all your stuff, and that's the base you
yeah.
sell to.
I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm just saying it's more diversified where they buy.
Okay, but you can diversify as a seller too.
Yep.
But they still know where eBay is. It's not like they don't know eBay's not a thing because they're on there buying your Skylanders. They're
Yeah,
buying this.
I don't think I'm just saying like where eBay had a monopoly in the past, they now have to share that, and that sharing is increasing as the generations go by. Like
Okay,
if I want a tin toy, right?
yeah,
If I want a 1920s, 1910s tin toy, I don't think you're going to get that. You might get that on Etsy, but really you're going to go to eBay for something like that, right? You're not going to go to Poshmark. But if you want a bunch of Pokemon, like I'm just guessing here because I actually don't know. But if you want a bunch of Pokemon toys, I think it's not just eBay you're going to look now. Now you're also going to look on Poshmark and stuff like that
but didn't you also say that there's less buyers, but they're buying more?
on eBay.
Yeah, so it's not like eBay's making less money from the
No, they're making yeah, no, they're making more thanks to promotions too.
yeah, but outside of the promotions, if they're selling more items on eBay, I mean,
There was a comp.
what
I
are they
think
needing? What do they need to turn around? Because they don't really care about how many buyers are there as long as they're selling more stuff.
well, the problem was the COVID was a spiked all the buying of online period for all the platforms, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And then it dropped. And
Okay.
so that's why like Shopify had to lay off people, Amazon, eBay, everyone they've had their sales drop, right? So all the stats are kind of screwed up, so it's kind of hard to tell. So that's why you have to, you know, when you say, well, people are still buying, it's like, yeah, they are, but it's, and sales went up. They went up a lot during COVID, but right now we're trying to find that medium, like where's the long term average going to be? And I think that really we're still to be decided. Especially like I've been hearing for years now that we're heading into a recession, right? So it's like, okay, eventually it's going to happen.
Yeah,
What
and she talks about Amazon free Prime shipping the next day delivery win for most, but that doesn't pertain to me either. You know what I mean? Like, okay, if somebody wants something that day, they come to the store and buy it, and it's at the booth. You know what I mean? So I got myself covered that way. But if somebody wants something the next day, they're not going to find what I'm selling on Amazon. So that doesn't even matter to me, right?
Yeah, it's just talking about
Like,
diversification of the market, right? Like
yeah,
we're
but I'm
talking,
not I'm
if
not
you're
going to
selling
sell on Amazon when I see the return rate and the way they handle things. Like, they're just going to charge me to get it back or discard it if it doesn't sell within a term. Like,
Amazon's a whole different ball game.
yeah, I
It's
would
not.
agree.
We can't even relate because you're talking about
I'm
new and
just
packing.
responding to the comment here.
Yeah, I know. Mine's just saying I don't even feel comfortable talking about Amazon because it's like completely something I don't really do, and it's a different market completely. It's there are in our competition for new stuff. If I put something new online, there are a competition because then, but we won't even get into it because I don't want to get into it really, to be honest, because it's not that important to what we do.
Yeah, but Don always gets us in these heated discussions.
I just I'm not fighting you as much this time. I'm just letting you go.
Well,
Okay.
what would you fight about?
Well, nothing. I agreed with everything you just said.
Yeah, so what does that mean?
I'm not. I'm debate. I didn't mean debate. Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep
I'm
going.
not going to debate you. I'm just going to let it go.
I would
What is-
definitely. You're just trying to get me going. It's not going to work. I would definitely be interested in the sheet music, Scott. I was in your neck of the woods this past Tuesday too.
Tuesday. What was I doing Tuesday? Well, the store is closed on Monday, Tuesday. Um, so I was going to say you should have stopped by, but we wouldn't have been there because it's closed. But not that we're there every day, but if you're ever in the area or going to the market, let me know. Let me know, Don. But I still have to look for that sheet music. Like like I said, I have to look for it because I don't even know where it would be in here.
Don't
Um,
expect it anytime soon, Don.
stop. It's not. That's not even fair. I will look for it. I will let you know. But if you're ever around here, like I'm going to meet Grouchy Fish today, um, at the Waterford Antique Market, and let me know.
Let,
Uh,
anyways, yes. Okay, I'll keep going. So Dawn's her last thing says, I may or may not have run this through Chat GPT to make some paragraphs shorter. We
oh,
should do that with the whole show here.
just will you edit this for us?
Yeah. Oh, that'd be sweet, wouldn't
Oh God, they just beep everything you say out. That's all. Like
it? Yeah.
fake news, fake news,
Fake
fake
news.
news.
Yeah. Just like some minimal wording underneath. Yeah.
Nova Scotia. This is Randy, Scotia Celt. Hey Scott and Carl, you two must, and this is what you two must have eaten my comment last week. This is what is like boggles my mind because it does that now and then.
I've had that. I've done that too. I went to look back at a comment and it's gone. And it's like, what happened? And it's not like someone deleted it. It didn't record or yeah, I've seen that as well, Randy. We definitely did not delete it. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
that's for sure. No, I don't even care what anybody puts in there. I would never delete it. Like it would make entertainment. Like even if they said something bad about you, Carl, like I wouldn't delete that.
No, of course not. I didn't even see Randy's comment either. I had to go hunting elsewhere for Randy.
Well, we could. You're right. Like I'm glad you did that because you can't leave Randy out of a week. Oh well, I am not going to do the research, but Carl is likely correct about eBay. Yeah, he was.
Right? Say again?
He was Amazon is number one now. But that's what I'm saying. I'm not competing to Amazon. You guys, I don't get it. I don't know. I see it differently, I guess. But eBay has made several improvements. Like it's like saying uh it's just
No,
saying like
I agree with you. I know what you're saying, Scott. Like Amazon really isn't our competition. It's a
like
different market.
if the corner
Right.
store
Yeah.
isn't in competition with Canadian Tire.
Yeah, I
Even
know.
though,
It's
you know
not
what
the
I
same.
mean?
But it's still relevant, but it's not as for the stuff that we sell, it's
Yeah,
not that relevant.
right.
If you're selling, like, I don't know, I can make something up, phone cases, then yeah, right?
But
But
okay, so
but
but but here's the thing.
mhm,
Usually those guys that are selling those new phone cases are probably both on Amazon and eBay.
true. Yeah.
And second of all, they got to be selling some of the stuff on eBay and they're probably just getting lesser price. So they're still hitting a demographic who wants to be cheap and pay less, and they're still going to hit the people on Amazon who doesn't care because they want it tomorrow,
Mhm. Yep.
right?
Yep.
And okay, you're not getting same day shipping, but most of my stuff gets there within a week, and I can like depending on what size it is, but I can usually get it there within $10 of a charge. You know what I mean? So even because of the way eBay has set up with Canada Post, even the postage is really gotten better. So the cost. So
Yeah. And we're not saying Amazon and eBay don't overlap, because they do. It's just that for the stuff we sell, it doesn't overlap that much.
yeah, but even if it overlaps, like I just don't. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know if eBay is really concerned about Amazon. I wouldn't be. If I was eBay, I'm going off of I'm going for. It's like Walmart doesn't really care about
Amazon makes most of its money off car parts, from what I understand. So, and I don't touch
Amazon
car
does.
parts. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I meant eBay makes most of, like, makes a ton of money off of car parts, if not the majority. Like, that's the biggest market, and I don't sell car parts at all. So who
Yeah, but
knows?
yeah, but I'm just saying, like even like from CDs to ephemera to an antique to
The
I don't
market's always changing. You know who's getting big is Walmart, and we never talk about Walmart. So for
know.
resellers, I mean, believe it or
Yeah, but
not.
they're selling new stuff too. Like that
Yeah.
doesn't
But they're
affect.
competing with Amazon. But anyways, let's continue, because it's
eBay was made several improvements in the last year, but previously to that, the leadership was against small sellers and small buyers as they were considered to be them unimportant.
I remember that time.
Yeah, I heard about that. I don't know if that was 100%. I don't know if that was 100%. Like I
I would say
don't
it's being inconsistent.
like I heard about that and I understand why people would feel that way, but I don't know if that made sense. I don't know. Like if somebody was trying to do that with an eBay, they're an idiot and they should have been fired.
They changed their priorities into where they were making money, but I felt like I did feel that we were neglected at certain times, but not enough to make me actually change any of my behavior.
Yeah.
The bottom line is, did I get paid for selling stuff? Yes. Did I get it always on time? Yes. Was there bullshit? Yes, but there's bullshit in everything you ever do. So it was
But I mean they
tolerable
got that.
amounts of bullshit. I think the big thing for me was, like, dealing with eBay, if there are issues, has been inconsistent. Like, sometimes they've been great and sometimes they've been horrible. So, and throwing you under the bus. But
But
it's a small percentage of my business.
look at that guaranteed authenticity type setup that they got. Like they're going so many ways in the right direction. You know what I
I
mean?
think that's great, but I don't sell any
Well,
of that stuff.
well, I mean, we don't right now, but I mean, if I came across an Omega watch,
Yep.
you know what I mean, or if you're
Yep.
selling a gold chain that's worth $1,000 or something like that, right? Like as a buyer, you're gonna feel more, or Nike shoes or anything like that. As a buyer, that is huge.
I think we're on repeat, but I would say that eBay has improved over the years. From 5 years I started selling now, or whatever it was, I have seen improvements for sure. I've seen some great improvements. I've seen bugs, but I think a lot of conspiracy theories. I think a lot of people felt when the sales dropped off after COVID, it was eBay throttling and doing stuff, and I don't really agree with that. Most people disagree with me on that one. I think it was just the market change, but overall, I've been very happy. The bottom line is, I list something, it sells, I get the money in my account. And
Yeah. If you want to do combined shipping, at least in Canada, there's a lot of hand holding.
yeah, I have like shipping policies. I haven't noticed the hand holding, but I'm not saying that's not true. Maybe it's because I'm selling maybe because most of my combination sales have been to the United States. So I don't have a ton of combo, but I do. I shipped one out just yesterday, a combo sale. So it's two very different things too.
Those savvy buyers know to request an invoice before paying. Yeah, so you know what I do? I just put it in the same thing and then add the tracking number and mark it as shipped. I've never had a problem. It's pretty quick. But
Yeah.
yeah, I like it better, obviously, when they do ask for an invoice, and then you can just put it all in one for sure. Anyways, you rambled around so much, I forgot. Randy, that's not like us. I forgot half of the conversation. I don't know what else to comment on. Always a pleasure to hear you guys, Randy. Well, thanks, Randy. It's always a pleasure to
Yep.
read
Thank
the
you.
comments. So thank you very much for that. And what else is left there? But the
Finally doing it wrong.
Mister doing it wrong.
Watch the Lord of the Rings movie? Nah, too short. I'll listen to a Reseller Evolution instead.
There you go.
Thank you.
Cha-ching.
Cha-ching.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks doing it wrong. Yeah, I'd rather listen to us than Lord of the Rings do.
Oh, how dare you?
I'm just kidding. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I'm kidding or not, Carl. I don't know.
Lord of the Rings, best
I
movie
just
ever
have
made.
so many packages to ship now today. It's just I
You
haven't got
bastard.
time. I haven't got time for Lord of the Rings.
I thought you play stuff in the background. This perfect play in the background stuff.
I'm just kidding. Okay. Just trying to rub it in. Toy soldiers.
Oh man.
All right. So I think that's about it, everybody. That was a short show.
A shorter one. Like I think things are good. We're in Q4. I had a return. I mentioned that. It was like they said it didn't work when they got it. It was old,
Toy
electronic sealed. So it was like whatever. So
soldiers.
my
Toy
basic point is don't let these small things bug you. eBay is still great. List more. Q4. Don't get overwhelmed.
Toy soldiers.
Okay. Bye, everyone. It's like,
right.
yeah, I don't have anything to say. I'm just babbling now.
I'm just
do you have
kidding.
anything else to add?
Not really. That's about
No.
it. I'm a little giddy right now. I'm getting out of hand. So
We're going to be hearing Toy Soldiers for months. I'm sure.
Yeah. No, I'm just playing because you say you're jealous and everything, and
Yeah, I'm jealous.
You hate me and all this stuff now. So
I don't hate you,
dude. It was a one-time lucky thing. So I feel very fortunate. I'm very thankful for my buddy to set me up for this, and I'll be making it good for him. But anyways, we got to move on. I got an auction coming up this weekend, and I'm looking forward to it, and all sorts of stuff going on. So revamping the booth still part 2 is happening right after this podcast. So
awesome.
Head over and do that. So, and I gotta go meet Grouchy Fish too.
Awesome. Well, say hi for me.
Alrighty, will do. And everyone, thank you so much for the comments. Thanks for listening. And we're here every Friday on Spotify and YouTube, audio only. Leave a comment either place, and we'll read the comments. Always love the comments. So have a good week, everyone, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone.